Good morning, Kentuckiana. Thank you so much for waking up with us on this Sunday morning. I'm Gabriel Gonzalez, and of course, as you can tell, I'm joined by Matthew Willoughby.
Hello.
Welcome to GMK Weekend. We know you've made your appearance on
Yes.
GMK during the week. You've also made your appearance on some other shows, but welcome to the weekend show.
Honestly, I'm happy to be here. It's nice and refreshing. I don't drink coffee necessarily, but it's nice and refreshing just to be here joining you on a Sunday.
Good. I'm glad. You know what? Two non-coffee drinkers.
Really?
Glad
So
we
you
got-
too?
I have my water right here. That's all that I got.
Yeah, I'm water and Diet Coke, honestly, is all I could do.
Yeah. Now we've had some water in the forecast recently. Lots of rain yesterday.
Yeah, a lot of water, and yeah, this has been raining. I think we're up to honestly 7 days in a row of measurable rainfall. So yeah, we're finally getting rid of the rain for the start of this Sunday morning. Taking a look outside, got a beautiful view as that sunrise. Still a few clouds in the distance. But overall, going to see some much drier conditions for the start of your Sunday. Current temperatures right now, just into the lower 70s, mid 70s in some spots, 75 degrees in Louisville, even up to Scottsburg, 71 degrees. Overall, those feel-like temperatures still into the mid 70s as well. Overall, looking at Max HD radar, just a few showers and storms off to the east, that is, but not much really going on in our area as we are just nice and dry for the start of this morning. Overall, though, a 12-hour estimate rainfall did see a few showers just 12 hours ago, and it was another wet one out there for you. But finally, not seeing the rain showers, but we do have a flash flood watch again in effect for us as we go towards this afternoon, back into tomorrow evening as well. So we'll have to watch out for that with more rain on the way for us. Also, take a look at that coffee planner for you. If you want the coffee you needed this morning, that morning sip going to bring us into the upper 70s by the midday. If you still need that coffee to get you going for the day, 90 degrees. And by the evening, we'll be back into the lower 80s with evening showers and storms. Now, we do have the rain on the way for us as we head towards this week, but also we are cranking up the heat this week. By the midweek of us, we're talking mid 90s, but how long will that stick around as we head towards next weekend? Well, I'll be timing that out coming up in just a few minutes. We'll send it back over to you, Gabe.
All right, thank you, Matthew. Well, as we've just said, July brought lots of rain and storms across Kentuckiana. The heavy storms this month have triggered flash flood warnings around our viewing area. Towns like Utica, Indiana, who were hit hard by storms earlier this year, are bracing for heavy downpours. WHS 11's Alexandra Goldberg and photojournalist Aspen Hester give us a look at how people in the community are feeling.
Armina Kuhn's rowboat sits on her somewhat dry lawn. But that's how she got around Utica, Indiana, when her street looked like this in April.
But I made sure I stayed on the road and not in people's yards.
Summer storms dumping rainwater all over the region, raising concerns over what another flood event would do to her community.
I'm sure you've been getting those flash flood warnings.
Yes.
What's going through your head?
Oh, is my house flooding? Is my yard? Is everything good? I was at my friend's house, and I was looking at Facebook, and I saw all the water. I told her, I'm like, I gotta go home. I gotta check the situation out. Because, I mean, you never know, because sometimes it comes up so fast.
We showed you this home in April. The family was gutting the place because of the floodwaters. Now it's empty, like many of the other homes in this community.
They had to permanently move out. This one over, well, you can't see it through the trees, but there's another one. They just tore a house down over here.
Utica Town Council President Steve Long says nearly 30 homes are vacant because they don't have permits to rebuild after sustaining severe damage in the April storms.
If the house had over 50% damage, it could be totaled out. And what do? I mean, you put money into something, they get it taken away from you. You're just throwing good money away from bad.
Long says those residents also don't have access to federal FEMA funding. He says April's floods were never declared a state of emergency on the federal level, only on the state level.
Somebody's got to come in and take the bull by the horns and tell these people what to do, because, you know, people can only go so long and they're getting aggravated. I don't blame them.
Long says the city paid $100,000 out of pocket to help people, but it wasn't enough.
And a lot of people are just like stuck. I mean, they don't have the money to even fix their own home up.
Armita's house was spared, but her heart is with her displaced neighbors.
Is it going to flood again?
And her mind hoping the Ohio remains tamed. In Utica, Alexandra Goldberg, WHA's 11 on your side.
And the town council president says state officials are touring Utica later this month to assess damage from earlier floods. He says he hopes that will be the start to receiving help for families who need it. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear shared a statement about the recent rain, saying, quote, "Kentucky, please be aware of the heavy rain that's continuing across the state with the potential for flash flooding in some areas. Have your weather notifications on to avoid high water. Let's do what we can to keep everyone safe," end quote. Back here in Louisville, we have an update on the teenager who was found dead last night after being shot in the Chickasaw neighborhood. Police have identified the victim as a 16-year-old boy. It happened just after 7 yesterday evening on South 45th Street. That's down the street from Chickasaw Park. LMPD officers arrived to find him dead with multiple gunshots. LMPD does not have any suspects in this case. And a man is dead and is in the hospital after being shot multiple times on Saturday. It happened on Moravian Drive in Pleasure Ridge Park. When officers arrived, they found the man with multiple gunshot wounds to his torso. He was taken to U of L Hospital and is currently in critical condition. If you have any information on either of these shootings, you can call the anonymous tip line at 574-LMD. We now know the names of the 3 Lexington police officers who shot and killed a man in Fayette County last Sunday. In response to that shooting at Richmond Road Baptist Church, 3 officers fired shots that hit Guy House, the man who shot a KSP trooper and others at that church. Kentucky State Police confirmed the 3 officers involved have been identified as Sergeant Ross Collins, a 13-year veteran, Officer Kyle Blankenship, a 5-year veteran, and Officer Simon Rankin, an 8-year veteran. All 3 are on administrative leave per LPD policy. A Southern Indiana ice cream truck driver was arrested for drug possession and alleged impairment. Officers of the Tell City Police Department arrested Sherry Poole of New Albany, Indiana. At first, Poole was pulled over for speeding an ice cream truck on Thursday. And during that traffic stop, the officer reportedly developed probable cause to search the ice cream truck, which was being driven by Poole. The search showed the ice cream truck was carrying methamphetamine, prescription drugs, paraphernalia, and controlled substances. Poole was arrested for drug possession and booked at the Perry County Detention Center. Well, we have an update on the Oldham County bus driver who was arrested for DUI. Oldham County police were called to the YMCA on Friday after counselors were concerned about a driver who was transporting kids from the aquatic center back to the YMCA. Now, the YMCA of Greater Louisville sharing a statement saying, quote, "The safety and well-being of our children in our care and always will be our highest priority. As a precautionary measure, we have paused all field trips for Oldham County summer day camps while we conduct a full review of our transportation procedures, partners, and safety protocols to ensure this type of situation never occurs again," end quote. Now, police arrived on Friday and were able to make contact with the driver, Melissa Dowell, who was parked in a running bus at the aquatic center. Officers say they smelled a strong odor on Dowell and said she had slurred speech and glassy eyes. No children were harmed and there were no accidents. Dowell was immediately terminated and taken into custody for DUI. At the time of her arrest, no children were on the bus and the YMCA arranged for alternate transportation of those kids.